Okay, so this is the wiring loom torture experiment, and if anyone hasn't put one of these wiring looms in a splitty, I recommend it because it's a lot of fun. Said nobody. Yeah, you got to get it through the hole there, which we found out is quite small. Here we go. We've got the wiring loom in position. It wasn't as difficult as I thought. Because Paul wasn't here, that's why. He wasn't egging me on. Here you go. Have a look. All through the back and into the engine bay. And that's ready to go. So one more thing ticked off the list. We've got a little list up here of all the items we have to do. I don't see drink coffee on the list, mate. What's going on?
Oh, sorry.
You better put that on the list. All right, we'll continue. Okay, so the next job we've got to do today is we're just attaching the air pipe or heater pipe, whatever you want to call it. So I've just got this all just placed, slotted inside each other, and I've ground off a little bit of paint, and we're just going to do a little TIG weld just to spot them. Another one there, and one down the back there, and then we'll just go around this with some Sikaflex and then touch it up with a bit of the blue. So that's just the first job to get done now, so we'll get on to that. Okay, so these are the pipes all done. If you have a look, we've just used some black Sikaflex to seal up all the joints. That's just to keep everything, keep the dust and the mud and gunk out of each joint. And that's it. There we go, all done. So we'll tick that off and move on. We'll obviously wait for it to dry and then put some blue paint on it just to make it look nice. Let's move on to the next thing. Righto guys, we've got a box of goodies here from Steve up at Das Resto. Thanks, Steve-o. Got all sorts of parts in here for the ute. Got some dust boots for the gearbox, some glass, front glass. We've got a kit to do the steering on the front beam. That's the steering arm shaft repair kit, and a few odds and sods here. Little bits and pieces for the gearbox, rear bearings. And we've got a tie rod arm. That's the glass under there. We want to be careful with that. And yeah, slowly moving along here. Just doing a few more bits and pieces. Got the arms painted up here. They head underneath the floor. But yeah, we're slowly just getting bits and pieces together so we can get this together. And that would be our oil cooler with a thermo fan, and we need to work out where we're going to mount that. It's going to go under the floor here, somewhere, we're not sure, we'll work it out. Alright, keep moving. Okay, so one of the next things we've got to do is organise the gearbox here, and we've got to get one. So Paul's got a pretty special tree out here, I'll just show you. It's one of these trees that you can just grow. It grows gearboxes. It's amazing. It's just, it's a wishing tree. So just underneath this tree, just right about there.
My God, there's a furphy.
Yeah, I think it's coming up now. So 1 second, and it should be growing about now. Look at that, brand new gearbox. That's pretty much what we need.
You should have wished for a new one.
So we're going to clean that up. We're going to take some axle tubes off that, and then get ready to build it up. So let's do that. Alright guys, welcome back here. We are getting onto the gearbox assembly, and as you can see, this is a brand new box. We've got all the reconditioned, not brand new. Geez, brand new, you'd be having a big party, wouldn't you? But we've got all the parts here ready to go. Obviously this is the straight axle conversion that we're going to be doing for the single cab, and everything's been all painted up with the KBS black chassis paint. We've got our these are our little shims that go like that. There you go. So that's those bits. And then we've got obviously the rubber boots to put on. We've got the axles. We've got the pinion gear. Some sort of pinion. What is that? I don't know.
It's a diff. Goes into the diff.
Yeah, it is a diff. What's it called though? It's that round thing with the little teeth in it.
We haven't changed sides. Yeah. That's where your little fulcrum plates.
And these are the fulcrum plates. We're going to put those in too. There. So anyway, we're going to get this thing together, and then the plan is we're going to get the single cab onto its feet. We don't have tyres yet. We're going to get Ash to come and put some tyres on soon, and we'll get the front beam put in as well. We've got all the cables put in, and brake lines mainly done. A couple more to go, but we'll do those at a later stage. But we'll get the front beam in, get the gearbox in, then we can rotate this and get it onto some jack stands, and then we can start working out spacings for our wheels and bearings and everything else. So let's get to it. This stuff stinks, everybody. So just letting you know that if you're working on gearboxes, it's just hideous stuff. I think I've said that probably 8 times in the last 6 months anyway. No. So what we're doing here is we're just putting the axles in. We've got a circlip there to install inside there, which will hold it all together. Circlips, pliers, and then we have these little shims here that we need to use to shim up our play, and then we can actually put on the rest of it. So
dust free, guaranteed.
That's that little spacer that has a
little lug, goes into the little lug hole.
Goes in the little lug hole.
Where it is.
Now comes the all-important circlip.
Yeah, the fun part. And directional. Again, original, the way it was. Sorry if I'm in your way.
Now these axles here, they're rated for 1800 horsepower.
Which is going to happen.
And anyone believes that, they're in fantasy land.
And done. That was easy, wasn't it? Just make sure it's home with your vision, your payment. You can see the back of the lugs in, and you can see the tops in, and everyone's happy.
Beautiful.
Just try pulling them out, and everyone's happy.
All right, so next will be, we need to work out how many of these shims that we need to use. I put 3 on either side on mine, so we might start off with that and just see what happens, and we'll just give it a trial fit and go from there. So here's the shimming process with these gaskets. So we've gone with 3, which seems to be the generic number, and then obviously we bolt our flange on, and before we put a little bit of RTV silicone on each side of these, we just test. That's what.
And they're supposed to swell up.
Yeah, that's what's happening over here. And we're just going to test to see how much free play is up and down for the treble. We don't want it binding. We don't want it making silly noises.
Like being smack.
But we'll go with. Hang on, how many shims have you got in there?
3.
You got 3. Okay. 3 is good.
3 with spares. Just in
3
case.
with a couple of spares on the ground there. So
4's too many. Okay, we torque them up to how many now? What's the torque wrench?
Just down there on the ground is the wrench. It's called.
Nick,
it's
you don't know torque wrench.
Yeah, the setting is FT, which is called finger tight.
Finger tight.
Finger tight.
Oh, you really? Haven't you got a socket?
No. We're living on the edge here, man.
Man, how about I go and get a socket?
It's all it works.
And you actually got it working like that?
Yeah. Makes it more interesting when you have the wrong tool for the job. You know that.
Tell me about it. Finger tight, right, like that. I might go bake some bread.
We could do that.
This is ridiculous. I'm going to get the socket.
I did it a different way, if you'd like to know.
With this?
The other end.
Yeah, but still. No, I'm coming back over.
So the gearbox is ready to go. We've got all a little bit messy with the silicon, but you know, that's what happens. You're not going to see it all. Oh, hello, Mr. B. What are you doing? There's no honey around here, buddy. Anyway, yeah. So obviously, the next thing now is we're going to get the mounts, the gearbox rubber mounts to put on here, and get the little cradle set up. And the rubber boots, I think we're going to put them on later because we don't want this thing rotating around and tearing the rubber. So we'll probably put those on once it's mounted in the vehicle. Alright, so she's all in. Here's the gearbox all mounted, and the next thing we're going to do now is get the spring plates, which are over here in the area. I did go and powder coat these guys, and that's I've actually got a video on how I went about cleaning these and powder coating them, and I'll post that up soon. But yeah, what we need to do now is get the all the bearings pressed into position here, and get the rear brake calipers put on, and then we can actually get the spring plates mounted as well into the torsion housing over there, and then we can stick the rubber boots on and get a wheel on this and just give it a test, make sure everything's honky-dory back here. So let's get on to that next stage. Okay, so this is the left-hand side spring plate in position, and the bearing carrier bolted in, and that is all done. Next we're going to put on the caliper bracket and work out all these bearings and housings and O-rings and whatnot. So we'll get onto that right now. So here's the rear disc in position. We've just mocked it up and trial fitted the wheel just for clearances, just to make sure everything works, and we're pretty happy with how it's all gone together. So that is going to be a wrap up for today's effort on the single cab, and we will be going back to it very, very shortly. So remember to subscribe, because there's a lot of people that haven't, and it helps the cause, as you know, and then I can buy more crazy combis and things, and maybe a bigger oven for Oven Boy, I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, we will catch you in the next one, guys. Woohoo!